Grant tries a second frontal assault at Vicksburg, and it goes about as well as the first one. But at least he learns his lesson, and we're just going to sit back on our haunches and shoot at the Confederates with mortars instead of actually assaulting them, and eventually they'll surrender, or at least that's the plan. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And Johnny, we've got moderately good news mixed with a little bit of bad news, but it's a short week-ish. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, Johnny.
All right.
It's going to open up on the 22nd with Grant trying his second assault on Vicksburg.
And
at 10 a.m., he's going to hit a 3-mile section of the Confederate line, where it's actually a crescent shape, like, semicircle moon shape.
Yeah.
And it does not go great.
Oh.
Sherman's troops are able to reach the top of their hill that they were assaulting, but then can't hold it. McClernand's able to break through the first line of Confederate defenses, and then not hold it. So it is about as big of a mistake as the first time, because Grant's going to lose 502 killed, 2,550 wounded, and 147 missing to the reported casualties of the Confederates of less than 500, although those numbers are not accurate at all. There's no way that's accurate.
That's just their report? It was just less than 500, or did they
have...
Like,
we lost less than 500. But did you?
Okay.
I'm sure it's a lot more than that. Not even any remote, what we lost.
But just, to be fair to them... there's not too many of them that can count that high.
Fair point. Fair point, Johnny. So Grant is going to learn from his lesson, though. These two frontal assaults going badly. He is going to say in a report later that night that was a mistake. He should not have done that. And he's going to call on the gunboats and just let them do their work. And day and night, we're just going to shell the shit out of Vicksburg until they surrender. That's what we're going to do.
Why didn't he do that before? Why don't you do that before you lose all of your men?
Probably should have done that. Yeah. Because, at this point, we're not really in that. It's not... If Vicksburg falls today or falls next week, it's let's sit back on our haunches and shell the shit out of them.
And our whole plan for this whole war has been just...
The anaconda, yeah.
Just let it go slow. Yeah, nice and slow and steady.
Yeah.
But instead, we just keep charging a bunch of dudes into hellfire and then bring in the boats.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. On the 23rd, Johnny, Port Hudson is one step closer to being under in the Union hands as Union forces underneath banks cross the river and begin their approach to the city. Remember, it's Vicksburg and Port Hudson. Those are the last two places anywhere on the Mississippi that the Confederates have any troops. So that's it looks like the Mississippi might be ours in soonish, hopefully.
We'll see. It should be already. To be fair,
yeah, it should have been. But
what are they doing hanging on these last two little bits? Just give them back.
We'll get there.
They were ours to start with.
They were ours to start with, yeah. Meanwhile, Trader President Davis, he's going to write to Johnson and say that he's hopeful that Johnson can attack Grant and aid Pemberton, to which Johnson replies, not going to do that.
Oh. Just a hard pass on it?
Hard pass, not possible. Grant's forces outnumber mine, and that doesn't seem like a mission that I want to do. So he's not going to do that. On the 24th, Trader President Davis is again going to write to Johnson saying that, hey, and I quote here, the disparity of numbers renders prolonged defense dangerous, that being Pemberton's forces there in Vicksburg. The numbers show that if this continues, it's going to be dangerous for us. So I hope that you will soon be able to break the investment and make a junction in carrying munitions. To which point Johnson again goes, not going to do that.
So he told him, basically, if you don't do that, it's going to get bad because of the numbers. But Johnson's saying, no, it's bad now because numbers.
The numbers. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be more of those numbers. All
right. Well, at least it's... at least it's trader generals traitoring against their trader president and not ours this time.
Yeah, there's that. On the 25th, Confederates are unable to escape Port Hudson, and now they're in for the long haul because Port Hudson is under siege by Union forces. They are able to also, on the Mississippi, capture two Confederate steamers, the Starlight and the Red Chief, on that Mississippi River, so even less stuff that the Confederates have out there in the West.
We got to be able to count their ships that they have left on one hand now, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. And most of their ships are docks that they put a gun on and push it out to sea, and they're like, it's a ship. It works.
Yeah, it's your Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer type of ship.
Very, very much so, yes. And Johnny, federal officials are going to give former Congressman Clement L. Vallandigham, the Ohio congressman who sided with the South, that Lincoln said, all right, if you're going to side with the South, you're exiled from the United States,
to go there,
or you will go to jail. Which one do you want? He chose exile, so they are handing Vallandigham over to Confederates in Tennessee. They say, here you go. He wanted to be part of you. Enjoy him.
Imagine his welcoming party. What would they be excited? Are they happy?
I don't know.
Or are they
no
upset
idea.
that they have to come get another mouth to feed?
I mean, or in the flip
is he gonna
coin,
fight? No.
If you're gonna exile him from the United States, maybe exile him from the United States, like Canada or Mexico. Why are you giving him to the person that you're giving them to the enemy where he was a part of anyway? So it's like, what the...
To the other side, which is still the United States, because the Confederacy is a belligerent nation, and it does not exist. It is just not a thing.
Yep. On the 26th, Johnny, now that Port Hudson is fully under siege by Banks's forces, we find out that there's a little bit of gold in them Dar Hills in Montana, Johnny. So this war is going to be interrupted a little bit of gold. You might want to head over to Montana, Johnny, because that is where the gold has been discovered.
I might be on my way over there. Let's.
A sizable vein was discovered near Alder Gulch, and there's already a massive rush of people over there. So if you're gonna go there, Johnny, you get gold. You might want to hurry it up. Trader President Davis, also on the 26th, is going to write to Lee saying that Pemberton is making stout defense in Vicksburg and that Johnson and his army are outside of Vicksburg in preparation to lift that siege. Meanwhile, Johnson is still not going to do that.
He's still... I mean, so at what point does Trader President Davis just say, you know what, fine, you're relieved of your duty for not following orders? Or does he not... Like, what... You can't just keep not following orders, right? Can you? Can you do that?
I guess. I don't know. On the 27th, Johnny, Banks is going to learn that frontal assault on Port Hudson is going to go about as smoothly as the frontal assaults on Vicksburg does, where he's going to lose 293 killed, 1,545 wounded, and 157 missing to reported Confederate casualties of 235. Again, those numbers are probably on the low side, but still...
A little suspicious there. That seems...
And... in Port Hudson, Banks is going to go, all right, gunboats it is, and begin bombarding the city with mortars and gunboats.
First thing you do is, from far away, you just... And then the people with the sticks.
Sherman is going to attempt to alleviate some positions of the around Vicksburg near Fort Hill, which is a little gun emplacement that sits above Vicksburg. He's going to send a gunboat down there to deal with that fort, but unfortunately, the gunboat's guns aren't really able to angle up high enough to hit the fort, so that fort is able to sink that gunboat with no damage done to it. So Sherman goes, oops on that one.
Probably should have gotten everybody to just go to the back of the boat and hang and to tilt it. You know what I mean?
Hang on it, tilt it, and lean it. Yeah,
really get it going. That might have worked.
Or flood intentionally.
Instead they just caught a bunch of probably cannon fire from from a fort on top of a hill that just has to
didn't work out. Didn't work out so well. But don't feel bad, Johnny, because the Confederates are also going to lose a gunboat. They're going to lose the CSS Chattahoochee on the Chattahoochee when it accidentally explodes.
What?
The boiler just blows on it. Oops.
Shoot.
Oh, no.
What's this release valve? Do I need to do anything to that? No? Oh, okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Fine.
Okay.
And then, boom! The Chattahoochee blows up on the Chattahoochee. I can't. That's great. I can't make that shit up.
There you go. Yeah, it's probably at the bottom of it now. Well, and
it is on the
banks
bottom of it. Yeah.
All over the place. And
Johnny, the week's The week's going to end on the 28th with the Union sending the brand new 54th Massachusetts, which is a colored regiment, to Hilton Head, South Carolina. It is the first unit of its kind that is a fully armed, fully munitionized, fully military unit from the north, raised by northern free men of color, and sent down to the south. Now, there are some what we call contraband units down in the south that are units that are developed from runaway slaves that have stayed in the south, that have joined up with the Union, they ran away from their plantation in Virginia and met up with Union troops. And
safe haven.
So there are several of those units that have been built up down there, but this is the first fully, from the ground up built northern free men of color going down to fight. They're being commanded. They're going to South Carolina, yeah. They're being commanded by Colonel Shaw. So we'll see. He was a veteran of Antietam. He's a veteran of Antietam. Got hit in the neck just like I did. So we're neck wound brothers.
I'll bet his was worse.
I mean, maybe not. Who knows? But we'll see how they do next week when they get down to South Carolina.
Yeah. Good luck, boys.
That's it for This Week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoyed This Week in Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight, where we talk about other kind of historical things that aren't necessarily Civil War related, like how we had a president who thought it was a good idea to not wear a jacket to his inauguration, and then he no longer was the president because he died of a cold.